What's going on? A to Z Sports Live on a Friday. Going to have a great show this morning. We are talking Vols and the good news that the Tennessee Vols got yesterday as they announced no self-imposed bowl ban on the football program. So very excited to hear about that. We'll talk about the two things that decision greatly benefits, but the fact that it does open a certain can of worms that we'll get to. Jonathan Crompton, former Vols quarterback and host of our Vols halftime and postgame show, is on with me this morning. Zach is traveling back from Dallas today. He'll be back on Sunday night when the Titans go to LA to face the Rams on Sunday Night Football. So Crompton's going to have a great conversation with me about what this means for Josh Heupel's program in year one. 4-4 with a chance to win the last two games of the season, South Alabama and Vanderbilt, to get bowl eligible. And man, a win over Kentucky on tomorrow night could be another big time thing for Tennessee as well. So Crompton, welcome in. We're going to talk about the biggest advantage the Vols have over Kentucky. We'll get into our confidence level of the Vols beating Kentucky later on the show. It's Friday, which means it ain't that good news. But man, you had a take in our pre-show conversation about opening a can of worms, and I'm excited to get to that here later on in this opening topic. Good morning to you. How's it going?
Man, it's good to be here. Sorry about everybody. The can of worms was probably my fault. But we're going to have a good show, talk a lot of good stuff. This is going to be a fun weekend of football. Let's get it going.
Yeah, let's do it officially. Make sure you share the show wherever you're watching, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, still giving us issues. But make sure you share the show and get your friends and followers involved here as we are live here on a Friday with Jonathan Crompton in for Zach Bingham. Real quick, let me get us going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by BetMGM. I'm Austin Stanley. He's former Vols quarterback Jonathan Crompton in for Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Also hit us up on Instagram and on TikTok. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network. Got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for our show and they help out you guys. Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlords in the Nashville area. Simply go to renterswarehouse.com to find out how much your home can rent for. Mandu, the pulse of fitness, where one 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com. Your first workout is free. Wilson County Hyundai. That's where you need to go to make them a part of your car buying experience out in Lebanon. Their website is wilsoncountyhyundai.com. And the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. So, Cromp, I'm going to let you start with this. The Vols come out and have a statement that there is no self-imposed bowl ban, first reported by VolQuest.com. So credit to those guys for breaking this news. But as a former player, knowing that this investigation has been hanging over this program for quite a while under head coach Josh Heupel, how would you be feeling if you were inside that locker room yesterday after hearing that news?
Oh, that's huge. I mean, now the reality is it probably wouldn't have happened this year, but that's a big thing. I mean, it's you know, if you're not going to play the national championship game or the playoffs, which we know we're not going to right now, those bowl games they're fun. They're a reward for the hard work you've done all year long. Off-season 5 a.m. runs, going in there and, I mean, literally before the sun comes up, busting your rear end, spring practice, everybody goes on spring break, you don't have a chance to, stuff like that. So it's just a reward. I think it's a big thing for the program, the university, just down the road. But I'm more excited, honestly, for the players because they're the ones that deserve this the most.
Yeah, because these guys had nothing to do with the violations, right? Like Tennessee mentioned in their statement, they feel like they cleaned house of all the wrongdoers in the program. Jeremy Pruitt is obviously out. And then you have all the assistant coaches who are doing all the sloppy cheating in recruiting, because we know this, and you know this, cheating happens in college football at nearly every big program.
Everywhere does.
It's just how do you cover it up? And obviously Tennessee was very sloppy with how they went about that.
No, very, very, very sloppy. But I mean, I think you brought up a good point. It happens everywhere. It doesn't matter what school you're at or what school you're a fan of. It happens everywhere. Unfortunately, we got caught, just like SMU got caught, Southern Cal's got caught. There's a lot of places that have been in trouble for this in the past, and it's not going to end. Well, it might slow down now because of NIL, but until that happened, it was never going to end.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's going to continue to happen here. So there are two things that this benefits for the Vols not having a self-imposed bowl ban, which I think is the right thing to do. I think the NCAA is losing power every week that goes by with what's happening with NIL, with really programs like LSU just not cooperating and not giving a damn about what Will Wade's doing. Tennessee is obviously flexing its muscles, saying, Tennessee poured hundreds of thousands of dollars into this investigation and came out and said, well, no, we're not doing a bowl ban. We did what we were supposed to do. We found out things were going wrong. We found out cheating was happening, and we fired everybody's ass. And I think the first thing this greatly benefits is this current roster, because this current roster, guys that look like they're playing hard for their new head coach, Josh Heupel, they're winning games. They're 4-4. The games that they're losing have, minus the end of Florida and the end of Alabama, have been really competitive appearances and competitive games they've played. And I think it means a lot for what Josh Heupel can build inside that locker room. So it's great for these players to be able to go play in a bowl game if they can get the 6 wins, which they're highly favored to do with South Alabama and Vandy.
No, I mean, I don't disagree with all of that. 98% of it I agree with. The 2% I disagree with is about the internal investigation, and that kind of, well, whenever we want to get to the can of worms, that's where I'll bring that part up. Because yes, it is not fair to the players in-house, but it's also just like any organization that you quote unquote work for. Even if you get rid of somebody or, multiple people in this case, the organization still was wrong. And just because the individual did it, you're tied with the university. You work for that university, so the university still can have wrongdoing. So that's where, like I said, we'll get into that here in just a little bit about the can of worms.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't go to that, is what I'm getting at. But that was the first thing that clicked in my mind when I saw this stuff, was one of these negative ways it could go.
Yeah. So the second thing is how this impacts recruiting, because I think when you're looking at what Josh Heupel has to do, he's got some good players on the team, but he doesn't have enough good players. He just doesn't have enough players that are under scholarship, and only 71 scholarship players. Now, the report from VolQuest and the statement from the university said that they will self-impose some other sanctions. Like, I know Zach Reagan wrote on our website about the fact that Tennessee did not host any recruits in the first home game of the season against Bowling Green State as a self-imposed their violation there. That what does it mean? I don't know. They're gonna limit.
Don't come watch us play. Oh,
on a Thursday night, right? Like recruits from not outside of Knoxville can make it anyway. But again, it's one of those things where you do it to get ahead of it. Maybe they pull down some scholarship restrictions and limitations over the next couple of years. But they're already so limited in that fact that limiting their scholarships or taking away 5 scholarships over the next 2 years means they still get to add more scholarship players than they already have. So they're still getting to build in the right direction. But how does this impact recruiting, in your opinion, of not having a bowl ban?
Positively. I mean, it really does. And keyword opinion. But because now you can, when you're talking to them, you don't have to feel like you're lying to them about, we can be going to this bowl. We do this. We can go to this bowl, blah, blah, blah. SEC's tied to these bowls, all this stuff, right? You don't have to feel like you're lying to them. Like, straight up, 100% know that I'm blowing smoke up their rear end because we may get this, and this. Now that we have not given ourselves a bowl ban, obviously we got to wait for the NCAA. But since we haven't done it, now we can say more confidently to recruits and have them in-house and actually try to host them and wine and dine them a little more for what we can do, not what we possibly maybe kind of might be able to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think it's because the one question about Josh Heupel was, can he recruit to Tennessee? Can he recruit in the SEC and win these other recruiting battles against coaches who are known as better recruiters? Because Josh Heupel, has never had to recruit competitively like this. UCF, his recruiting class were like in the 40s and 60s right there. And so it's kind of, it's interesting to see how Josh Heupel can take advantage of this news and what the program did. But let's go ahead and get to this can of worms that Crompton brought up to me in our pre-show conversation, because I do find this pretty intriguing. And it's something that with no self-imposed bowl ban, did Tennessee admit something that might get them in trouble with Jeremy Pruitt's lawyer? So we'll let Crompton explain this opinion here coming up. But real quick, let me tell you guys about Renters Warehouse and renterswarehouse.com. They're the professional landlords in the Nashville area. Simply go to renterswarehouse.com to find out how much your home can rent for. There's so many different ways you can use Renters Warehouse to your benefit, whether it's creating extra cash flows for you and your family or getting that long-term wealth, because equity means long-term wealth to get that retirement plan ready. Renterswarehouse.com. They'll get that mailbox money for you. They do all the work, and you become a mogul in the real estate business. Renterswarehouse.com is where to go.
Guys, BetMGM, right? Everybody, including myself, likes to play a little couple parlays. Download the BetMGM app today. Use promo code A to Z Sports. Risk-free bet up to $1,000. Yes, I repeat that. Risk-free up to $1,000. BetMGM app, promo code A to Z Sports.
Yep. Don't forget, visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older, must be present in Tennessee. For gambling problem support, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789. So the question that Crompton brought up is, does not imposing a bowl ban on yourself mean that Tennessee's just given ammo to Jeremy Pruitt's lawyers? I will let you explain.
It's just something that popped in my mind when I did see this, because the first thing went through was like, yes, we finally won something. You know what I mean? Crap. If I'm a lawyer, I'm going to go, okay, that's fine. You admit this, and this, but you're not going to impose a bowl ban. How can you fire my client with cause? And now we're going to go to court. Like straight up, they've already given Tennessee the deadline. Deadline's passed, October 29th. Mm-hmm. So now if I'm him, keyword, if I'm him, I'm going for, what is it, the $12.7 million that he's trying to get? I'm going I'm going to go for every penny, and I'm not settling now, because Tennessee did not give themselves a self-imposed bowl ban. Like I said earlier, just because you got rid of people does not mean the organization still does not have to have consequences. And that's not Tennessee. That's for anything, in my mind, any organization. That's just, I think we've opened that can of worms that now I think we're going to end up having to pay a buyout. And the thing that hurts is if you pay him, every other coach is going to come after it that got fired with cause too. And I could be wrong. I'm just saying that's where my mind goes if I'm the lawyer.
I disagree with it. I think I get what you're saying. And will a lawyer try to take advantage of this? Absolutely, because that's what he's paid and hired to do. That Jeremy Pruitt's lawyer is hired to find any type of foot in the door to get any money for Jeremy Pruitt, because he didn't get $12+ million from being fired and having a buyout. But I don't think that this means, like, no self-imposed bowl ban means that Tennessee didn't find enough. I still think they found enough to fire Jeremy Pruitt with cause, but they did not want to punish their players and the new coaching staff that had nothing to do with it.
And
because
I can't disagree with that, but I'm using the word organization. So the university still is entitled to do something. They're still expected to do something. You can't tell me that not letting recruits come to Bowling Green is enough. You know what I mean?
And like we don't know what the other.
You were cheating so bad that you got fired with cause, and we can't find enough without saying, "Oh, we've already fired them. Those players already transferred." That's all I'm getting at. Is like I'm not saying it's a bad look. I'm just saying that it might be enough for Tennessee's about to lose millions of dollars more in a buyout.
Yeah, and I don't think Jeremy Pruitt would ever get his full $12 million+ buyout. If anything, he gets a few $1 million to have Tennessee have him shut up, and because he's out here with all these vague threats and name dropping, Rick Barnes, Philip Fulmer, the chancellor, and the president, and a bunch of other people, former assistant coaches, saying that he's got dirt on all these people and that he can bring them down. And Rick Barnes fired back with "What the hell are you talking about, Jeremy? I supported you while you're here. What are you even getting at? You don't want to play this game."
And so that's all I'm saying is, like, like this is just where my brain goes. If we self-impose a bowl ban, then him and his lawyers are going to have to go, okay, they found a little more than we thought. All right, let's take a step back. And I could be wrong.
They're not going to take a step back until they get money.
Well, no, so now, right now, if I'm them, I'm going for every penny of the full buyout, because I'm going, You didn't self-impose anything. All your findings were that we got rid of the people that cheated and the players transferred. That's not enough for me not to get a buyout. And that's all I'm saying is like, so if I'm him, I'm gonna go to my grave trying to get every penny. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying he's going to get it, but I'm saying that's what his lawyer is probably going to advise him to do.
Yeah, I definitely get. I'm on the same page with that. I just don't think not self-imposing a bowl ban admits that you didn't fire him with cause. So Tennessee fired him with cause, and they've got plenty of dirt on him. I see Trey Wallace every time this happens. Trey Wallace talks about how they've got so much on Jeremy Pruitt that it would completely ruin him from college coaching for the rest of his life.
Okay, so then think about it from, once again, organizational standpoint. You have enough on said person. You hired said person. Your university hired that individual, and you have no wrongdoing. Do you see?
I don't think Tennessee's saying they have no wrongdoing.
It's not admitting that we're wrong, but it's the fact of admitting, hey, maybe we shouldn't. We messed up. We effed up here. We're going to take a 1 year. Dude, it's a 1 year bowl ban. I'm glad we didn't. I'm saying that, but I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Sure.
That if you do a 1 year, then everybody goes, including his lawyers, go, okay, well, they found stuff. Now when all you can say you found is, well, we know we cheated and we fired the coaches and those players transferred. That tells me that you're not taking any blame here. Like,
yeah,
because I think they're trying to save, in my opinion, now this is a totally different swing here. My opinion is they're trying to save face for one individual.
For Fulmer.
Yes.
I don't disagree with that.
That's my opinion. Keyword opinion.
Yeah, because they let that guy retire and ride off into the sunset with, getting paid six figures a year.
$450,000 a year for 3 years.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous of how Philip Fulmer is being
so I wasn't trying to bring up this can of worms in a negative light. It's just the reality of, if I'm a lawyer, I'm using this as fuel to my fire to get my client.
No, I definitely see what you're saying. And Dom asked a question: who at Tennessee conducted the investigation, and is that entity high enough in the pecking order to be completely biased? No, I think they hired from outside. They brought somebody in to help them with the investigation to do all that. So here's what I want to get to next. And Kelkin says, Kevin Elkin says that Crompton's straight ignoring all the other self-imposed sanctions. Well, the problem is we don't know what they are outside of Trey Wallace reporting that they didn't host recruits for that first game.
I'm not sitting here saying we need to give ourselves the gauntlet. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm glad we didn't do anything on the bowl game. I'm just saying, from the other side of the spectrum, playing devil's advocate, it's probably what's going to be said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I hope it doesn't, because that means we can have more money to put back into the university and the football program and actually get back to our winning ways.
Next question. What percentage chance do you think the NCAA will give the Vols a bowl ban later on? Because we're seeing that with Oklahoma State right now. They had some issues with their basketball program. Mm-hmm. And I heard Brent Doherty on the Zone say this yesterday, that the freshman class currently at Oklahoma State was in seventh grade when these sanctions and violations happened. So what percentage chance do you think that the NCAA will drop a bowl ban on the Vols later on? And I'll let you guys go ahead and comment in the comment section. We'll read some of your comments. What percentage chance do you think the NCAA will give the Vols a bowl ban later on for this Jeremy Pruitt situation? Louis says 0. So Crompton, I'll let you answer this, because we're seeing it happen with Oklahoma State, that it took several years.
Honestly, I'm not 100%. What did Oklahoma State do?
To me, I don't know the details of it, but there was NCAA violations that happened in their basketball program, and now they have a postseason ban that's come out. And again, the freshman class this year was in seventh grade when that happened.
That's
seventh grade.
All right, good job NCAA for taking a freaking 6 years to do it. Yeah. I would honestly, I'd say 50-50, and that's not like a cop-out answer. Like, I legit think it could be a coin flip. Especially since we did hire a third party, right, to do an investigation. I think that it is a straight up 50-50 coin flip. heads yes, tails no, and see what happens. Because right now, like you said, you were right on earlier, in my opinion. The NCAA's got a lot bigger things on their hands right now with trying to keep NIL intact, doing a lot of other things, trying to essentially make sure they don't implode. I don't know if this is the biggest thing on their radar right now. So I think that that's why I'm going 50-50.
Yeah, I think it should be lower. And David says, let's talk about Kentucky, or Kentucky, he calls it. We will get to Kentucky.
I love it.
We will get to Kentucky here in a second because we're going to have a full breakdown of the game here in a second. But here's honestly how I feel about what happens with this. I think if the NCAA drags its feet like it typically does, then there should be no bowl ban. There should be a clock on an investigation that if the NCAA can't complete an investigation within 18 months, then they should not be able to impose a bowl ban because the turnover of a college athletic roster is so fluid and so quick that you're always going to punish the wrong people and innocent kids in that situation.
AKA Oklahoma State.
Yes. And even with Tennessee, if it's a self-imposed bowl ban next year, then that's a new crop of athletes that had nothing to do with Jeremy Pruitt because of how quick the transfer portal, JUCO transfers, just the fluidity of a college roster right now, it doesn't make any sense. And so I think if you can't get it done within 18 months, should a university still be punished? Yes. But here's my thought, because Jeff Rubel says, but that's not how this works, Austin. It's how it should work. The NCAA has been doing things how it shouldn't work for decades. How it should work, is it costs the university money to go to a bowl game. And the university gets a fat check for that bowl game. Why do colleges like going to the Outback Bowl more than the Liberty Bowl? Because the Outback Bowl has got a bigger payout than the Liberty Bowl, even though the SEC and the bowl system is saying, no, it's the same. It's the same pool of 6 SEC bowls. Bull. The Outback Bowl is better because it pays more than the Liberty Bowl, than Shreveport, than Mobile, Alabama, than Charlotte, than Nashville, Tennessee. And I love the Music City Bowl, what they're doing. Here is how it should work. You go to the bowl game, but if the NCAA says bowl ban, it's not a bowl. It shouldn't be a bowl ban. It should be a bowl fine. And I'm serious.
I know. Sorry, I love excuse me, I love that you're getting fired up about it. Like, I mean, truly, and I say that in a positive way, like, because this is how genuine our fans really are.
Yes, but this is how it should work.
It's not just Tennessee fans, because I'm telling you, Jeff Rubel, I love going back and forth with him on game days. It's just, we have a good time, but it's not disrespectful because, man, people are passionate about their universities.
Yeah, and Jeff Rubel, Jeff Rubel's a big Ohio State fan who watches our show every day, and we love that. That's awesome.
I know.
It's great.
And he knows that I'm not an Ohio State guy, so I like to mess with him back and forth because it's all fun and games, because this is collegiate athletics, and that shows the passion that everybody, like, for their school loves and they live and breathe for. It's awesome.
Yes. So if, let's just say the NCAA comes back and says, if they find that in their own investigation that Tennessee was worthy of getting a bowl ban, make it a bowl fine. So Tennessee can still accept a bowl in 2022, 23, 24, whatever the hell. And if it's here's the thing, here's what it really hurts, because it hurts their pocketbook. If Josh Heupel has this thing rolling and the Vols can go to a Sugar Bowl in 3 years, and that's when the bowl fine hands down, now they're losing a ton of money because they can't get Sugar Bowl money. But if they get a bowl fine and they can't go and they get the Outback Bowl or the Capital One or the Music City, then they're fined that amount. But you don't punish the athletes. You still let the athletes and the coaches go play that had nothing to do with this. But here is how you punish the university. Because the university, like you said, hired the coach that did the dumb things, hired the coach that broke the rules, then they fired him, but you should still get punished for hiring the bad guy in the first place and allowing it to happen. So you bowl fine them, and so the payout from that bowl doesn't go to university. It goes to wherever the fine money goes for rushing the field or throwing golf balls and mustard on the field, everything. Bowl fines is the new direction the NCAA needs to go with this, because punishing innocent college athletes is so ridiculous and stupid. And I don't know why we haven't figured this out in the first place.
Because it's too easy. Just call it like it is, right? And like I just want to kind of clarify earlier, I'm not saying that we should have to pay buyouts and all this stuff. I was playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Second off, I'm never an advocate of punishing players for being teenagers and accepting money that an adult was willing to offer.
Yeah,
that's your grown ass adult's fault. Straight up, my opinion. You're gonna, now I'll admit I never took $1, just so everybody knows that.
It doesn't mean you weren't offered.
But what I'm getting at is like you can't blame a teenager, because all these kids when they go to school are teenagers, except for like the one in Blue Moon that's from California that's 20 because they got held back to be athletically superior. But most 98% of these kids are teenagers. You can't blame them. So I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. Actually, I don't disagree at all about how don't make it a bowl ban, make it a bowl fine, because these kids did nothing wrong.
Exactly. I love it.
Technically, they broke the rules, but it was because it was offered to them and said, hey, take this hundreds of thousands of dollars to come to my university. How you going to pass that up? Come on.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I mean.
On to Kentucky.
Yes, on to Kentucky. Absolutely. Let's get to the Kentucky game. What is the Vols' biggest advantage over Kentucky? You know, I find this interesting. I also find the next question that we have interesting about this game. But what's the Vols' biggest advantage over the Kentucky Wildcats in this game tomorrow night in Lexington at that Kroger Field thing that they have up there in Lexington? Yeah, Kroger Field, it's just a non-college feel of having it called Kroger Field. But anyway, what is the Vols' biggest advantage over Kentucky? But real quick, let me tell you guys about Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, where 1 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com. Your first workout is absolutely free. Guys, I love Mandu. I've done it twice this week. All you need to do is once a week. Once a week with a 15-minute workout that simulates 5+ hours in the weight room. It's incredible because it puts all the pressure and stress on your muscles to build the muscle fibers stronger, functional strength, and adding muscle mass without putting any stress on your joints. All the work on your muscles. It's quick, obviously 15 minutes long, get you in and out and more productive with your day and your week. And it's great for your joints. It is for everybody, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you've got old football injuries or sports injuries, they've got you covered right there. Mandu.com. And if you tell them A to Z Sports sent you, they'll take $100 off your first month when you sign up. So your first workout's always free, but you tell them A to Z sent you and you get $100 off your first month when you sign up. That's right there at Mandu.com.
Cool. Guys, BetMGM. All right. We all like to play some parlays. Like I said earlier, BetMGM. Download the app today, BetMGM. Use promo code A to Z Sports. Risk-free bet up to $1,000. I know I'm going to do it. I've got to cross state lines to do it, but I'm going to do it. Okay? It is what it is. I don't live that far from the state line. So everybody, look, hey, come have some fun. Risk-free bet up to $1,000. Promo code A to Z Sports.
There you go, right there. All right. So what is the Vols' biggest advantage over Kentucky? So I'm going to go ahead and read some comments.
I like some of these comments, though. I think they're very spot on.
Yeah, Chris says the Vols tempo. Sean says speed. Charles says fast play. So basically all three of those things basically along the same line. Billy Jones says Hendon Hooker. Dustin says nothing because the Cats are going to win. So we've got
come on, Dustin. Come on.
We've got at least one Kentucky fan in the chat, which is good. I like it to have some little difference there. Brian Bowman says the defense, because the Vols lead in tackles for loss, and that's crazy. It is crazy. It's nuts of how Tennessee has more tackles for loss through 8 games. I think it was through 7 games than they did all of last year, and they've got a lot more games left. I mean, the defense is pretty impressive with what they've been able to do. Dom says Kroger Field. I've always hated that damn high school ass stadium.
I didn't want to. Sorry. That might be the best comment I've heard in a long time.
Renaud says Heupel in that offense. Danny Whitson says the fast pace has been an advantage all season and even at times against better opponents. Don't see that changing against Kentucky. Josh says that Kentucky turns the ball over a lot, and that's definitely true. Very turnover prone. Will Levis threw 3 picks last week against Mississippi State. Brent says stop the run and force Kentucky to pass, and Tennessee wins the game. James brings up a fresh offensive line because Tennessee is coming off of a bye week and they get healthy. And that offensive line, hopefully a lot more fresh after playing against Alabama 2 weeks ago. So Crompton, I'll stop there with their comments. I'll go back to the comments in a second. What do you think is the Vols' biggest advantage in this game tomorrow?
I'm playing off of what Brent said that you just mentioned about stopping the run and force Kentucky to pass. Mine was Tennessee's pass game because I think our pass game is better than Kentucky. If you go look at the numbers, you're like, oh, they're kind of similar, 63% versus 68%, 1,400 something yards versus 1,500 and something yards, all this stuff. Well, our quarterback has played less games than you. And second off, you do not throw the ball very effectively at Kentucky. They run the piss out of the football, though. Bottom line, they can run the ball and they can run it well. To me, you stop the run and force this kid to pass. He's a great athlete that can throw. I'm not going to say he's a great quarterback. I think he's a hell of an athlete that can throw. Make him beat you with his arm. And I think with our defensive scheme, we have that ability, right? Because we've shown that we can. Now, later in the game, that's different. But Kentucky doesn't have great, super crazy depth that Alabama and other teams have, right? So it's an evenly matched up game that way. So I think, like Brent said, make them beat you throwing it because we can beat you throwing it.
Yeah. And it's interesting. You mentioned that Kentucky can run the piss out of the football, and they've got two really good running backs. But in their last game against Mississippi State, they only had 66 yards rushing. And they only had 216 yards of offense. I mean, they were bad. I mean, I get 4 turnovers total will do that for you. When you fumble once and you throw 3 picks, you're not going to have the ball that often. You can't get yards because you're losing possessions. But 4 turnovers will crush you. But also, when you look at how that game went, it's not like Kentucky did poorly. I mean, they returned a punt for a touchdown, and then kicked a field goal, and they were up 10-0.
Yeah,
and then State just went on, and the problem was after going up 10-0 against Mississippi State, here was Kentucky's next several possessions on offense. It was 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt, 5 plays, interception, halftime. Then so 17-10. Then fumble on the second play. Then the next possession, first play interception. And then the game's over because they basically scored a touchdown when it was 31-10. Yeah. So they had 3 3-and-outs and 3 turnovers after going up 10-0.
Yeah.
How ridiculous is that? So that's not my advantage, I think, because I think Tennessee's defense has been a surprise all season long. Tim Banks and how they fly around the football is impressive. It's fun to watch, and they can create turnovers, and they force other offenses into making mistakes. They'll give up some points, but I really like the way that they play. So here's my advantage to this, and I want to get your thought on this. Kentucky's known for having a good defense, right? Mm-hmm. That's what's got them to a 6-0 start on the season before losing 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Well, they've played some really bad teams like UL Monroe. I mean, they gave up 28 points to Missouri.
Didn't they have to come back against Chattanooga?
Yeah, they did. They were losing to Chattanooga at one point.
No, I know that was early in the year, so I give that a wash.
Yeah. So here's what I think. It's not that the Vols play up tempo in this, because that's a difficult thing. And you just saw Mississippi State throw for a bunch of yards and score a bunch of points on Kentucky. And Mike Leach and Josh Heupel, it's not too much of a difference there in how their philosophy about offense. Here's my advantage. It's not the speed, it's not the tempo, it's the spacing. And I think the spacing that Tennessee's offense will put Kentucky's defense into is the X factor, because we've all seen how far the splits are for the wide receivers. And we've all seen Tennessee beat teams horizontally and vertically to make them cover all 53 yards width and all whatever's in front of you to the end zone.
Yep.
Alabama struggled with that too. If Alabama's going to struggle with it, if Nick Saban's going to have some issues with it, damn sure Kentucky's going to have some issues with it. I don't know about Georgia, but that's a different story. We'll talk about that next week. But again, like it's the spacing, because I think Tyon Evans is probably a lot healthier after a bye week. Jabari Small, that offensive line, Hendon Hooker. So now if you get the spacing out there and you're spreading Kentucky's good defense out, I just think Tennessee can just whip them with creating mismatches because of the open space they make.
Yeah, and notice, I like how you said that about the spacing horizontally. Notice when we do get our super wide splits, we throw a lot of what I call smoke screen. One step, turn around, boom, ball, right? We've thrown a few of them, but not a lot of you fake the smoke screen while your other receivers stalk blocking and go. So we might see a couple of those early this game because it's a bye week. You're going to come up with new stuff. All right, you're going to come up with a couple of wrinkles that's not crazy different, so it doesn't look any different where it's like, oh, hey, red flag, right? Going to come up with a couple of things, and I know it's in the playbook, but we just haven't ran it a whole lot. So we might see one of those on the first one or two drives of the game to take a shot, but it not be outside of the realm of our offense that we can still play fast. So I do like that. I like that advantage.
Yeah, and it's not just in the passing game, because when you've got your wide receivers split out like that and you bunch them, you put two wide receivers that are basically on the numbers and you're on the opposite hash, a safety has to kind of split the difference, right? Like a safety kind of has to go over there and kind of keep an eye out for that, or you're going to get torched over the top. And then so what does that do? That means Tyon Evans can rip off those 90-yard runs like he did at Missouri.
Well, and it helps that Hooker has the arm strength to make those throws, because otherwise it would just be, why are you out there?
Yeah, you'd be wasting a player.
Kentucky's quarterback can do the same thing. Like he's got a cannon, but I think he's less accurate. But that's what I'm saying is, like, with the way we do things, I think our quarterback is better than theirs. I do. And I think our pass game is better than theirs. But the thing is, man, typically I know we've won whatever crazy amount, out of the last 35 years, all this stuff, but it's still Kentucky, and they're never going to back down. That's just the bottom line. They are not going to back down, and they're playing well this year. They have a better record, and they are the underdog. So it's not a game we can take lightly. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like in my mind, it's always, oh, well, it's Kentucky, right? Oh, it's Kentucky. Well, this team is not just, oh, it's Kentucky, because they're hard-nosed. They're going to fight until they can't. If we get up 21, it's going to be real hard for them to come back. But that's a big thing. We've got to do that.
Right. And what Tennessee's been able to do is get early stops on defense and then a 2-minute drive for a touchdown. And then that's exactly what happening at South Carolina, Missouri, is they were able to hang up like 56 points combined in those two first quarters, which is just absurd.
If we get a turnover, we can't go 3 and out. If you get a turnover, I'm not saying you got to get a touchdown. Ideally, yes. You got to get some sort of points, or you got to sustain a drive to take momentum away from your opponent. You go 3 and out after a turnover, that momentum actually just got stronger for them.
I agree, because they got away with one. And what you say is, like, if you get up early on Kentucky, that takes out Chris Rodriguez and Cavassier Smoke, who are two really talented running backs who average over 5 yards a carry. That have some ability. Now, Wan'Dale Robinson is one of the best wide receivers in the SEC and can hurt you from anywhere on the field. And so you got to be able to bottle him up and not just let him do what he did against Florida, where he went like 45 yards on a screen that made that game interesting, where Florida might have been able to, if they wrapped him up and bottom up, it doesn't happen.
But the Florida game was always close. Yeah. So the run threat was still there.
Yeah. Exactly.
We've got, the way you can bottle him up is you got to get a lead to take away the run threat.
Yeah, no doubt.
If they have the threat of run, they're dangerous. It's just
no
he
doubt.
Can throw it. He can put the ball anywhere. He's got a cannon. Any type of play action, he can throw it over your your head.
He's also thrown 9 picks, though.
Yeah, I didn't say he wouldn't throw it to you. I didn't say that. I just said he's got a cannon. I didn't say that it was the best cannon, right?
Yeah. Isn't it crazy? Like, if you look at just the stats of these two quarterbacks, I mean, Hendon Hooker has thrown for more yards, more touchdowns than Will Levis, who's started all the games. Like, Will Levis has thrown the ball 205 times. Hendon Hooker's only thrown it 166, but Hooker's got more yards. He's averaging 9.5 yards per attempt, which is just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous. 17 touchdowns and 2 picks. Now, he's been sacked 22 times, which has been an issue. But again, like
we at a certain point we had, like we've said, we've had duct tape O-line. We haven't had our guys out there. So I give some of those to that. Not all of them.
I just thought it was funny. Abdul says, do they have a player named Kilbasa Smoke? No, it's not Kilbasa Smoke, which is hilarious. It's Cavassier Smoke.
You know what? I might have to smoke some kielbasa sausage on
That's
Saturday.
hilarious.
Thanks for the idea. I appreciate that.
It's really funny. Really funny. That's like a game day sign. If Cavassier Smoke was better and more of a household name, you could do a Kielbasa Smoke, sign or something.
Now, hey, who said that?
Abdul.
Abdul. All right, I need you to give me some sides now because I'm smoking kielbasa this weekend. All right, I'm letting you pick out my game day food.
Yeah. Dustin says the Vols are run first team. That's why Hooker's numbers are high. I mean, all their numbers are high. Like, that's the crazy thing, is that all the numbers are high. Tyon Evans has 500 plus yards on 80 carries. Like, the fact that Tyon Evans only has 80 carries this season is crazy. And it's just, the Vols are potent on offense. They've scored 37 touchdowns on offense.
Have we scored that in the last 3 years combined? Sorry.
No, sorry. I mean, seriously. Like, I know in the South Carolina game, they passed last year's point total. That was the sixth damn game of the season. I mean, this team's got a lot of really impressive offensive weapons on it. And it's not even guys that Heupel has recruited for the system. Now, Hendon Hooker has been, a hell of a find. Actually, by the last staff, if you think about it, Hendon Hooker was already coming.
Yeah, he was the diamond in the rough that you found.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, for sure. So big deal there. All right, Crompton, let's get to this question because I feel like every Tennessee fan in this chat has been very confident about this game. What is your confidence level for the Vols beating Kentucky? What is your confidence level in the Vols beating Kentucky? We always like to do confidence levels with a 1 through 10. So let's ask that question. What is your confidence level in the Vols beating Kentucky? But real quick, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute. boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Guys, whenever you get hurt, know who to go to, know who to trust, know who can get you back to health and streamline that process to make it as easy on you as possible. And the folks at the Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin can do that for you. They've got over a dozen doctors there at their facility, which means they have a specialist with literally every joint. We talked to Dr. Watson earlier this week when it came to Derrick Henry's Jones fracture and had a hell of a conversation that a lot of people have watched with great information. So if you haven't seen that, Dr. Watson on the Derrick Henry Jones fracture surgery, go check it out. boneandjointtn.org is where to go.
Guys, BetMGM, BetMGM app, download it today. Promo code A to Z Sports, risk-free bet up to $1,000. Once again, I know I've said it before. I'm traveling across the border because I live in North Carolina. I don't live far, so I can place my parlay bets for risk-free up to $1,000. Promo code A to Z Sports. Download the BetMGM app today.
There you go. All right, what's your confidence level in the Vols beating Kentucky on Saturday, 1 through 10? Sean says 9. Mark Jones with a 10. Willie with a 6. Eric Hobbs with a 7. Charles with a 10. Dustin Burton.
Come on, Dustin.
Dustin's our Kentucky guy in the chat, which I appreciate. I'm glad we've got some diversity.
Come on, Dustin. Be better.
Billy says 8. Brent says 6. Danny says 8 out of 10. Steven with a 9. Let's see. More comments as they're jumping on me. David says 10. Total domination, 42-21. Ed with a 5.1. Big Ronnie with an 8. Nathaniel says 3 out of 10 because Mississippi State beat them last week. UK will be hyper-focused, unfortunately. Does that play anything into this? Like, you were high-level college athlete. Does getting your ass kicked one week help you the next week, or does it matter whatsoever?
Honestly, I mean, you never want to lose. Yeah, it kind of pisses you off. You play Saturday night or Saturday day, whatever. It kind of eats at you that night, a little bit on Sunday, and then you're like, man, screw it. Because if you let it bother you the next week or added motivation, then you're in it for the wrong reason. You know what I mean? Because you're going out there to win each week no matter what. Now, that was me. I'm not saying that every player is that way, or even because I don't know their coaching staff. as far as how they approach the week. They're always going to try to use stuff for motivation, but I don't really know if it's going to be that big of an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Charles says 10. I mean, in Vegas, they call it a bounce back spot for a reason, right? Like, this is a great bounce back spot for so-and-so who just came off a loss or whatever. But this isn't that game. It's a rivalry game.
Yeah.
No bounce back spot with Vegas for sure. Jeff says 8.5 out of 10. Jacob says 9, coming off a bye week, and Kentucky is not that great. Sean says 6 because they usually do beat Kentucky, but Kentucky has had the better season thus far. Alex with a 0, not sure why. Guy 7, Kevin Elkins with an 8, Chris with a 9, Caleb says 5. After the last 10 years, I try not to get hyped up. That way a win over anyone ranked is great, which I get that mentality. Caleb, it's been a long decade plus.
Yeah.
All right, 6 from Jeff Rubel. Big Ten Jeff gives the Vols a 6 out of 10.
Jeff, be better, Jeff. I picked your Ohio State guys this year in one of my parlays. Be better, Jeff.
Well, then Jeff moves it down to a 4 because it's at Kentucky.
Oh, come on. Oh, Jeff, Saturday. You know what? Tomorrow's going to be fun with me and you because I picked Ohio State in one of my parlays, okay?
Yep.
I probably shouldn't admit this to you because now you're never going to let me hear the end of it. If they don't cover for me, I'm not letting you hear the end of it.
There you go. All right, what's your confidence level in Tennessee beating Kentucky 1 through 10?
10.
10.
I mean, and the reason why I say that, and it's not because, it's a homer, it's this. I truly think the bye week helped us to get healthy. I think overall we are a better team, right? Truly, I do. More so because of our schematics on offense. So I think I'm not going to say we blow them out, by 21, 28, 35 points. But I'm going to go with a 10 out of 10 on confidence for the win because I called it. I have to. Called it earlier in the year. We're going to win 7 games. So I kind of have to win this game.
You got to stick by it.
I got to stick to my guns.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at what Kentucky's done this season, I mean, they've got, a blowout over Monroe, a touchdown win at home versus Mizzou. Mizzou sucks. They beat UTC at home by 5. They only put up 16 points against South Carolina. Like, Kentucky beat South Carolina, Missouri by a total, guys, of 13 points. Tennessee was up on those teams by 28 plus at halftime on both of those teams. And I just think, I know you can't look at things like that because then Kentucky turns around and beats Florida 20-13 and Tennessee lost to Florida with a couple pivotal moments. But Kentucky, that game, was a weird game for Kentucky. Like, they were able to block a field goal and return it for a touchdown and then scored and then put together another. It was just a low scoring, hard fought SEC game that had 2 plays that won Kentucky the game. The screen to Wan'Dale Robinson to make it 7-7 in the first quarter, and the blocked field goal return of 76 yards in the third quarter. Those are the only 2 times they scored. And so, my confidence, I never go 10. I never say 10 out of 10. Never, ever.
Do it.
I'm not. I can't. I can't do it. Pretty freaking close.
Do it.
I'm at
don't give me a 9.9. Don't
9.5. 9.5.
Okay.
I can't go 10.
Dude, there's a first time for everything. Come on. Just do it. It feels so good to say it.
That will be Vanderbilt.
It'll feel really good. It'll feel really
Vanderbilt
good. Vanderbilt
will be my first 10.
Just do it. You want to.
But okay, how does this make you feel about it? If you have in order to be a 10, you have to acknowledge and define what is a 10 confidence level. A 10 confidence level is them beating Tennessee Tech and then beating Bowling Green and beating Vanderbilt. That's a 10. I am not that level confident, so I can't be a 10. I'm at a 9.5.
But old school math, it rounds up. It rounds up.
I don't round up. Unless it's in my unless I'm trying to kill weeds.
There you go. Look at you. Another sponsor coming through.
Actually, no, I don't even use Roundup. I just said it because it sounded cute. But I don't even use Roundup. Look
at you.
I don't have a driveway that I need to spray and it's getting weeds in the cracks.
Good
Mark
line.
Jones says Tennessee will dominate Kentucky. Look, I don't think it'll be a domination.
Well, watch this. What's your definition? Because dominating can go in multitude of different ways. Like, I'm not just score. The score can be dominant, but the game not be dominant.
Right. Like
Alabama,
Tennessee,
Alabama 2 weeks ago. The score looked, you're like, oh, shoot, you know.
Yeah.
But
Tennessee, Florida.
The game wasn't out of hand until in the fourth. So I'm
Tennessee,
saying,
Florida, same thing, right? Like when you lose by 24 points or you lose 52-24, like it looks dominant at the end, but those games weren't dominant. Now
I'm actually kind of on Mark's level here of the domination, but might be in a different way. The reason why I'm going 10 is not because it's Tennessee playing Kentucky. It's because if you look at the past couple of weeks, right, you can take the whole year, but you got to throw a few drives out. So let's take the past 4 weeks of games and 4 games. Look how effective we have been on offense, right? Like legit effective. We've been able to move the ball, make the big play, and not let things bother us. That's it. Not let things get in our head. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm saying we dominate the mental aspect of it. Of like when I work with these kids, man, understand. Like I'm an offense coordinator for a high school here in North Carolina. We play tonight in the playoffs. Like I tell my kid each night, good stuff's gonna happen, bad stuff's gonna happen. That's football. How do we react to the bad stuff? Do we let it bother us? Do we slam our helmet, or do we say, you know what? It's over. There's nothing we can do. That's done. We'll get better with it tomorrow morning. How do I go from here? I think we've done that so much better than a lot of teams the past 4 weeks. That's why I say it's a dominant performance, not necessarily a 28-point spread, but a dominant performance that you go, even if we only win by 7 or 10, that Kentucky didn't have a chance because we wouldn't let them.
Right. I do think it's interesting because I've kind of been watching this all year thus far, is that in Tennessee's losses, outside of Pitt, in Tennessee's SEC losses, they've scored 26 or less. 14 against Florida, 26 against Ole Miss, 24 against Alabama. And in the wins, it's 38, 56, 62, 45. Which is just way above 26.
Yeah.
And so, at some point, I am curious to see if Josh Heupel can win a football game under 30 points.
Yeah, I think so.
Can they win that style of game?
But notice, Florida has more of a high-powered, skilled players than Kentucky. Obviously, Alabama does. So this one's not a game that I'm going, hey, man, we got to score 40 to win.
No, not at all. But again, I'm curious.
If we don't score 40, we're going to lose. I think with the schematics we have on defense and the ability to keep the game under 28 points and win this week, because Kentucky, it's not like they're going to score like that.
Yeah.
Unless it's a fluke play, fumble 4 times and guy just picks it up out of nowhere, right?
Right.
They don't have the ability just to score instantly. That's why I'm thinking, so I do think that we could win this game under 30.
And I think that's a good thing. If Tennessee can do that, I want to see that. I want to get that box checked for Josh Heupel. It's like cool. Like their average margin of victory this year is stupid. It's like 25 against South Carolina, 28 against Missouri, 56, and then 32. It's like that's just a ridiculous margin of victory. They've lost a couple close games to Pitt and Ole Miss. Can they win one of these close games? Can they check the box of you won a tough game where your offense wasn't just blowing people out?
Yeah.
And that's just a box I'm curious to see if Heupel
think about the Ole Miss one, though. Starting quarterback goes down on the last drive of the game like that.
No, it's huge, right?
Now, here's the thing. For the long haul of the program, it's probably not the worst thing in the world that we don't win 9 games this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For the long run, and I say that because of, I'm not saying we always have I'm not saying we have low expectations, because we have very high expectations at Tennessee for a reason. But I don't want Heupel to be, because I think he's the right coach. I truly think so. I don't want him to be in a situation that everybody turns on him in year 2 for not winning 10 games when we're still undermanned. Now we're going to be better next year, but we don't have the 85, 87 scholarship guys right now. We don't. Once we get those, then I'm going, now that's the game you have to win. those games this year were icing on the cake. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
no,
if we had
I'm with
him
you.
on that last drive, hey, I think we pull that one out though.
And Danny says, no, Austin, I want the Tennessee Vols to keep winning by 20 plus. Of course, that's what you want, but that's not realistic. Like, I want to, when I'm watching these games, I'm watching differently from Danny Whitson, super fan of the Vols. I'm watching games to see how Tennessee and how Josh Heupel and these players handle these close game situations. Because if you want to eventually get to a point where you're playing for something that really matters, you're going to have to be able to make those good decisions in a tight game against Florida, against Georgia, that helps you get to Atlanta or beyond, right? Like, I want to see how Josh Heupel handles situations like that for when it matters late. It's very important.
And I want to touch on this real quick to Willie. I did in Pruitt's first year, I was like, you know what? I think he might be he might be the guy. But that was just because it came from the Saban tree. Then realizing that he's too much of a micromanager that didn't allow, because I've talked to coaches on the staff that would literally say, I mean, we don't know what's going on. I've never said this before. We don't know what's going on because we just get told to stay in our office and do our stuff. Once I heard that stuff, I was like, ooh, I got to be positive, but is that really how you run a Power 5, like legit, got name recognition, brand recognition all over the world program? No. Right? So what I'm saying is, Willie, I did say that in year one, at least. Hey, I was wrong.
Well, year two.
I was wrong. At least now with Heupel, we've got a whole new regime. He trusts the AD. The AD does not have any affiliation with Tennessee, which I do think helps in this type of situation because of the cheating and the scandal, you know, I mean, that type of stuff. So I think that helps. That's the reason why I'm saying I think he can be the right guy. And also, look at the fact of what we've done offensively. Austin hit the nail on the head. 6th game of the year, and we scored more points than we did the whole year combined.
Yeah.
Those things. So, yeah, I'll admit I was totally wrong on Pruitt. I hope I'm not wrong on Heupel. I don't think I am, right?
Right.
But I mean, at least he's been a head coach prior. We'll just say that.
Yeah. And you know, Pruitt went 8-5 in year 2, but he started 0-2 against Georgia State, BYU, pulled it together, and then I don't know when it unraveled. But because you know,
something happened somewhere that none of us will know. And actually, that was the year that I was talking to a couple of coaches on staff that they were like, "Yeah, because we don't know. We get told to do this, and this, and we have to do it." And I'm like, dude, that's not personal. That's not how you run a program like Tennessee. Like, good God. Like,
all right, Crump, let's get the good news. I'm curious what your good news is, because you just mentioned you got a playoff game tonight. That's exciting. I want to ask you about that. But ain't that good news here on the show? We do this every Friday where we share our good news to send us all the weekend, a little lighter way to share. I saw Jeff says he's got triple good news, which is a lot, man. If you got triple good news.
Jeff, calm down over there, bud. Calm down.
Real quick, let me tell you guys about Wilson County Hyundai and WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Guys, if you're in the market, guys and gals, if you're in the market for a brand new vehicle, make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your car buying process. I know it's crazy right now to try to buy a car with all the limited inventory. So you need to go somewhere where you can trust the people who run the dealership. And that is absolutely Wilson County Hyundai with Payne Bone and his team. They're also in Lebanon, which is outside of the Nashville city area, which means that they're not going to have those crazy city prices, and they'll be willing to work with you, especially if you let them know A to Z sent you. So Wilson County Hyundai in Lebanon, WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Guys, last chance, MGM, right? Download the app, BetMGM app today. Promo code A to Z Sports, risk-free bet up to $1,000. Can't beat it, right? Go in there. For Jeff's sake, go put a parlay on Tennessee and Ohio State. Make me and Jeff happy, right? Risk-free up to $1,000. Promo code A to Z Sports.
I might do that. I might do a 2-leg parlay with just Ohio State and Tennessee.
I just talked myself into it.
There you go. Right. Good news here on
You're up first.
I'm up first. I was going to read some comments first because Jeff mentioned his triple good news. Secured candlelight processional with a Pat Sajak for December 26th at Disney for – what does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. It sounds cool, but I have no idea what that means.
Hold on. I got – what?
Secured a candlelight processional with Pat Sajak for December 26th at Disney for his mom.
Hey, you know what? Good for you. Like, I love when me and Jeff get to go at it. So when he has some good news, good. Hey, I hope I hope your mom enjoys it.
Yeah.
Really?
Jeff also says Ohio State's all scarlet jerseys were fire, and good news. Tennessee beats Kentucky. This crap committee will rank the Vols inside the top 20 in the college football playoff.
I'm definitely doing the Ohio State parlay now.
I don't know if that will happen on the Vols in the top 20, but if they would have beat Ole Miss, they would have been ranked. I feel like that, but that didn't happen. It was 2 games ago, and we move on. Sean says double good news. 1, it's his wife's birthday. Happy birthday to Sean's wife. Home playoff game tonight as a number 2 seed in the school's first year of existence. All right, Sean.
Nice.
That's good. I'll let that transition into your good news because we went into high school football playoffs. What do you got going on tonight? You got a playoff game?
Yeah, playoff game. We got to travel. It's about 3 hours away.
What?
North Carolina is weird, man. I'll just say that. How they've done the playoff system this year is just. That's all I can say.
What round is this?
First round.
First round, and you're traveling 3 hours?
Yeah. If we pull this one out, then we only travel like 45 minutes to a conference team next week. Like like I said, I don't understand North Carolina's this is the first year how they've done these this playoff system. It used to be like 1A, you'd have a big and a little 1A, a big 2A, little 2A, stuff like that. So you have 8 state champions. But they did it to secure for, capacity or the, amount of students in the school, all that stuff, where now it's just 1A, 2A, 3A, 4, and there's 32 teams that make it on the East and the West. So 64 teams per 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, right?
64 team playoff?
So, yeah, but it's 32 on the East, 32 on the West.
Uh-huh.
So it's a 6-week playoff to win the championship.
Damn, that's intense.
Think about that. I mean, for high school, like 6 weeks, I'm like, damn, dude, okay.
I guess that's one extra week than Tennessee. Tennessee's a 5-week, and it's 32 teams per, so it's one less bracket.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy on how they're doing it, but in the sense of they've put some teams that were on the East into the West from last year. It's just realignment. So yeah, we got a pretty good little haul tonight.
How you feel about it, Coach?
Oh, we're gonna throw the piss out of the ball. That's just
well, that's because you're calling the plays.
No, kind of, yeah. So the past 2 weeks we were 40 of 55 for 425, 5 touchdowns, 1 rushing, or 5 in the air, 1 rushing. Last week 40 of 63, 4 touchdowns for 485. So we throw the crap out of the ball.
You're throwing the ball 50, 60 times a game?
Yes.
That sounds like a fun thing to
watch.
We're at
so last week we ran 80 plays for high school.
God.
12-minute quarters. Hey, so y'all want to talk about playing fast? Let's do this.
12-minute quarters running 80 plays? That's absurd.
Dude,
that is absurd.
But and some of them are screens and bubbles and swing routes.
Sure.
Because we play off of leverage.
Yeah.
Like we're just like Tennessee does. We're to the line quick, get there now type of deal. And see what they do. We're quote unquote freeze plays a lot where we can run the same play out of 12 formations. And for high school, that's just unheard of. So
that's pretty crazy.
It's fun. It's fun for me because I'm up there feeling like I'm playing Madden.
That's what I was about to say. You're playing a damn video game. Like you're literally playing NCAA football.
You should see my game plan sheet. It's over there. My password's over there. I'll show it to you one day. Like it's an 8. It's a, what is it? 8x14 double-sided. And I'm like, dude, I tell myself like, dude, it's high school. Calm down.
It's the Waffle House menu. It's
like pretty much. And I'm like, dude, calm down. This is high school ball. But I have it on there so detailed with formations and how I like it, blah, blah, blah. So we're just going. So reality is we're probably going to throw it, 50 plus times tonight to win. I hope we do win, obviously. It's a little more nerve-wracking as a coach than a player because I have no control now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm calling the play going, oh, this is there. But I physically don't have any control. So it's, it is a different feeling, but I love it and the kids enjoy it. And hopefully we have a 3-hour bus ride home that's not miserable. It'll be fun. Yeah.
3 hours home can be either really fun or not so much. But
exactly.
Man, good luck. Good luck to you guys. Man, I'm kind of curious to see what happens. I'm sure I might get a text at 11 o'clock at midnight. I'll be passed out by then, but you can let me know how you guys do. I'm very intrigued by that.
So what I'm getting at, so everybody tomorrow, right? I know Tennessee plays late.
Yeah.
I get home. I'm going to get home real late tonight, obviously. Then I got to train quarterbacks for like 5 hours tomorrow. So bear with me. Bear with me tomorrow because there's a 100% chance that I'm going to come home and crash, take a nap, and wake up at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Fair. All right. Well, Jonathan Crumpton and Charlie Burris will be on the halftime and the post-game show tomorrow right here where you're watching tomorrow during the Kentucky game. My good news is I've got, obviously the Kentucky-Tennessee game is a big deal, right? That's a big game for the Vols, so I'm looking forward to that at 6 o'clock. But at 3 o'clock, I've got a friend's 30th birthday party. So I'm going to hang out for a 30th birthday party, have some fun, then roll right into Tennessee, Kentucky for a big Saturday of activity. And then here's the best thing is that I get to sleep in on Sunday because I haven't, when you do Titans shows that are noon kickoffs every day, you don't get to sleep in. I get to sleep in on Sunday after a full day of fun when it comes to Titans Rams Sunday Night Football. So I'm pumped up about sleeping in on Sunday after drinking all day Saturday.
Oh, there you go. He admitted it. Yes.
Yeah, drinking all. I mean, start drinking at 3. Starting at 3.
Real good for the 7 o'clock kickoff.
Well, 6 o'clock for us, so that helps.
That's true.
That helps, but it'll still go on until almost 11 because that's how Heupel does it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm with you. No, that's awesome. I hope you have a good time. I'll be sure to send you some text during the game just to fire you up a little bit.
Perfect. All right, Crumpton, thanks for filling in this morning here on the show for Zach. Zach will be back on Sunday for Titans Rams. Hope you guys really have a great weekend. Have a great start to your weekend. Jonathan Crumpton, Charlie Burris, halftime and post-game show right here where you're watching on these channels for A to Z Sports. And then Zach and I will be live at Mill Creek Brewing Company in Nolensville. Come hang out with us for Sunday Night Football in Nolensville on Sunday night. That'd be fun. Late night Titans on Sunday, late night Vols on Saturday. We're going to have a big weekend. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great start to it. We'll see you later.